So students, we are on page number 119 of NCERT book, where this another heading is there of participation of people in employment. So let's read it out here. Worker population ratio is an indicator which is used for analyzing the employment situation in the country. So if we really want to know that how many number of people are employed or how many number of people are engaged in the economic activities, to know this in India how many are there, we must know about worker population ratio. So worker population ratio helps us to find out that what is the employment situation of our country India. So the ratio is useful in knowing the proportion of population that is actively contributing to the production of goods and services of a country. So this worker population ratio is going to tell us that how many people are engaged in the economic activities. Economic activities, remember, whenever people are doing economic activities, then or they are performing economic activities, it means that they are going to earn money for that. Okay, money is going to be generated through that activity. So that will be called as an economic activity. These all economic activities are going to result to the production of goods and services in the primary sector, secondary sector and tertiary sector. So worker population ratio is going to tell us about this, that how much proportion of the people are engaged in economic activities. And this worker population ratio is whatever the answer is we are going to get. If we get a higher rate of proportion, this worker population ratio, if we get it higher, it means that more number of people are engaged in the economic activities. Whereas if we get worker population ratio low, then that means that the proportion of people who are involved in the economic activities are low. That is, in number, lesser people are taking part in the economic activities. It means that. So therefore, it is very important to find out worker population ratio. Okay, this will tell us about the total proportion of people engaged in economic activities. Now, according to our data of 2011 and 12, 473 million workforce is there in India. 473 million. Now, from this data only we can find out that you might have already studied in lower classes the meaning of term population. So this is the formula for worker population. You can see here worker population ratio is equal to total number of workers divided by population. If we divide total number of workers by the population, we will get, and one more thing is there, that is to be multiplied by 100. This should be multiplied by 100. I'll write it here. So when we will multiply it by 100, then we will get the ratio in percentage. So according to our table 7.1 given in your book, NCERT book, on page number 119, you will see there that for every 100 persons, about 39 are workers in India. Okay, so out of every 100 people, near about 39 are workers. And in urban areas, the proportion is about 36, whereas in rural India, the ratio is 40. So if we will see here that in the rural areas, more number of people are found to be working as compared to the urban areas. Because it is clearly showing us this table 7.1 where in the urban areas, out of every 100%, near about 36 persons are found to be working. But in the rural areas, we find it that more number of people are working or they are engaged in economic activities. Now, why is it so that in rural areas, more number of workers are found. So the reason behind is that in the rural areas, mostly different persons are not very much educated, or if even if they are getting education, they have acquired, say, education in some primary, at up to primary level, then they leave after that. So their education is not yet completed. So these all the type of people are ready to work, or they are going to take any type of job because their family is not going to uh, afford them if they are not working. So therefore, it is very important for the people in the rural areas that they have to go out for work and looking for jobs, and they can take up any job because they are not very much highly educated, so that they may wait for any uh, good job, so that they can take any type of job. So more number of people are found to be working in the rural areas, whereas in the urban areas the people are well educated and they wait for proper work, you can say, or any good job that they really want to do. So they wait till they get the opportunity to do that well job or good job, and their family can also afford them. If they are not even working, then the family can afford it, and that is why number of people in the urban areas are found to be lesser in number. The workforce is lesser in number in the urban areas, and compared to females, if we'll see here, more males are found to be working, and the difference in participation rates is very large in urban areas. If you'll see here that in the urban areas, uh, in that every 100 females, urban females, only 15 are engaged in the economic activities. So you will see here that uh, in the urban areas, out of every 100 urban females, only 15 are found to be engaged in working. Whereas in the rural areas, if you'll find out that out of every 100 rural women, 25 are found to be participating in the employment market. So here you can see that even here in the females, we can see that more number of females are found to be working in the rural areas. Why are women in general and urban women in particular not working? It is common to find that where men are able to earn high incomes. See, what happens is that in the urban or maybe in the rural areas, very less number of females are found to be working, because India is a type of traditional society, is having a type of traditional society where if males are earning higher incomes, then females are discouraged to take up any jobs. And going back to what has already been mentioned above, many activities for the household engaged in by women are not organized as productive work. If we see here that most of the females who are engaged in household work, they are working, but their work is not counted in the economic activity because they are not paid for it, and that is why their work is not uh, you can say it is not uh, respected, because they are not getting money for that, and therefore there is a also a type of, say, you can say, a suggestion from the economists that why their work is not to be counted in the economic activities. Okay, so there should be, as they certainly contribute to the maintenance of the household farms. You can see that even the women are maintaining farms or households. They are doing work. They are conducting some type of activity, but their activity is not going to be calculated in the uh, worker population ratio. So this is what a big question is in front of the country, that why the females work are not to be counted. Now after this we'll move on to our next topic, that is given on your page number 120, and that is self-employed and hired workers. So if you look on page number 120 in NCERT book, you will see another heading here, self-employed and hired workers. So let's see here, I'm going to read it. Does the worker population ratio says anything about workers' status in society or about the working conditions? So if we really want to know the status of work of the different people, then we must find out that what is the quality of employment in a country. Through the status of work only we can find out the quality of employment in the country. So it is very important that we must know about the status of employment, of what type of work the people are engaged in. So that will tell us the status of work in the country. So to find out this, there are different dimensions for it. If you see that if three type of workers are there, that is from the construction industry, a cement shop owner, a construction worker, and a civil engineer of a construction company. If we look out for all these three type of persons engaged in three different type of work, then we can also categorize all these three persons into three type of working or quality of work. So let's see for the first one here. Since the status of each one of them is different from one another, they are also called differently. So all these three workers which we are talking about in a construction company or construction industry, there is a cement shop owner, second was a construction worker, and third one was an engineer. So the status of work is all different in all these three categories. So the first one, workers who own and operate an enterprise to earn their livelihood are called as self-employed workers. So who will be coming in this self-employed work? So just now in construction industry we have read that there is a cement shop owner. So this cement shop owner will come into the category of self-employed person. This is the first category, or we can say the first status of work. And in this self-employed, we will see that out of the total population working, 52% are engaged in self-employed work, or they are self-employed. They are having their own enterprise and they are earning profit from it. Secondly, the construction worker. If we talk about the construction worker, then this worker is coming into the category of casual wage laborer. So casual wage laborers are those who are not employed permanently, but they get work in a month for a few days, and after that they are again unemployed, like that of this construction worker. When the construction is finished, the worker has to go to some other place to find out work. So only for some times or some days a person is employed. So these are all the casual wage laborers. And this category of people accounts for about 30% out of the total India's workforce. Okay, so 52% were self-employed, 30% are casual wage laborers, and thirdly, as we were talking about, a person who is an engineer in a construction company. So this person or the worker who is called to be an engineer is going to get a regular salary, and therefore he will be coming into the category of regular salaried employees. Regular salaried employees. So out of the total workforce, 18% of the people are found to be regular salaried out of the total 100% of the workforce of India. So now if we'll find out the difference between the men and women, then we'll see that men are to be found to be lesser to be self-employed. They are engaged in lesser percentage in the self-employed work, that is males, whereas females are found to be more employed in self-employed work. Okay, because mostly the females are working in the farms and maintaining it as compared to males. Whereas on the other hand, if you'll see that for the regular salaried jobs, more males are engaged. Near about 20% of the males are engaged in the regular salaried employed, and 13% of females are found to be regular salaried employees. So here the proportion of females are lesser because men are found to be more skillful as compared to females, and therefore this type of gap is coming in the regular salaried jobs. But on the other hand, if you see that casual wage laborers, there are about 29% of the males who are casual wage laborers, but on the other hand, in the female workers, we'll see that about 31% of the casual wage workers are female workers. So the proportion of female workers are more in the casual wage work. On the other hand, if you see, if we divide the workers on the basis of urban and the rural areas, then we will see here that if you will see that in the rural areas, we will see, I am going to read from page number 121, left side. When we compare the distribution of workforce in rural and urban areas, you will notice that self-employed and casual wage laborers are found more in rural areas. So in the rural areas, we will find that self-employed and casual wage laborers are found to be more. Okay, so casual wage laborers are found to be more, who are getting only work for few days and then they are again getting unemployed. They are more in rural areas, and also self-employed are more in the rural areas because they are mostly engaged in the agricultural activities. And on the other hand, in the latter, both self-employed employment and regular wage salaried jobs are greater. That is, in the urban areas, we will see that self-employed and regular wage salaried jobs are greater because in the urban areas, more people are engaged in the regular salaried jobs. In the former, since majority of those depending on farming own plots of land and cultivate independently, the share of self-employed is greater. The nature of work in urban areas is different. Obviously, everyone cannot run factories, shops and offices of various types. Moreover, enterprises in urban areas require workers on a regular basis. So, not everyone in the urban areas can own a shop or an enterprise, and therefore offices of various types. But these people need more and more workers on regular basis, which can create more and more regular salaried jobs. Now, if we'll move on to page number 123, let's see employment in firms, factories, and offices.